Hey guys, Cross here. So, a lot has happened in the world of video gaming in the last couple of days. Let's talk about Pokemon. So, there was a few mini trailers, and then in one Grand Slam deal, Nintendo decided to let a select few streamers, info sources, Pokemon news sources, IGN, GameSpot, Cerebi.net, which if you don't go there for your Pokemon information, you absolutely should. Cerebi is top-notch and completely dedicated to all things Pokemon. That's SEREBII.net. They're always on top of their stuff. But today, I'm going to fixate on one of the streamers that actually got to play the 2 hours of Pokemon. He was invited to a location, a completely undisclosed location, and he was able to play. Wasn't necessarily able to record everything he took, but this is footage from Philly Beats You. In the event that he doesn't cover certain things, I haven't watched his video all the way through. I wrote down some notes on my phone of some other information that I got on this subject. Super important things, like you'll be able to see a shiny before you react to it, like before the auto battle ensues. So the auto battle thing, I'm sure he's going to go into the auto battle thing, but the good news is that your Pokemon just won't jump out of its Pokeball, beat the crap out of the shiny, and you lose that shiny forever. So that's the good news. Let's play. And all credit to Philly Beats You for this video. Again, this is his video.
To Pokemon everywhere. If I look left, I would see a bunch of Pokemon moving around. If I look to the right, more Pokemon. If I walked up the trees and moved my camera up, I saw three different Pokemon species in one tree. There were even Pokemon flying above me like Hoppip. If you look in the little streams of water, you'll find Pokemon in the puddles and even in the ocean. They are everywhere. This game is full of life, and you won't be disappointed at all by an empty world. Is the overworld as big as the Pokemon Company wants you to think? Going into the game, I expected the overworld to be big because I looked at the trailers and the official art map that the Pokemon Company released. However, when I played the game, all my expectations were surpassed, and the map felt much larger than what I had imagined. So Pokemon players will find the size of the world to be very big and fun to explore. I didn't even get to explore the complete area that I was in because of the time limit. Did the overworld feel like any landmarks were copy and pasted? Every aspect of the overworld that I...
Just gonna pause right there. That transition, the jumping, the leaping, the leaping into a higher level, scaling right then and there, like the leapfrogging, that looks really cool. And this right here, super seamless, very much like Breath of the Wild. I don't know if he's gonna cover this or not, but a majority of this game is confirmed to be open world, minus one major city that was disclosed by another...
like any landmarks were copy and pasted. Every aspect of the overworld that I explored felt unique, and nothing felt like it was copy and pasted. Is there really freedom of choice in the game? You do not have to follow any paths. You can spend your time however you want in this game. How you determine your adventure, what Pokemon you want to catch, what trainers you want to battle, gym leader order to fight, team star bases to take down, and Titan Pokemon order is all up to you. As the player, you get to imagine the path you want to go for in this game, which makes this Pokemon game stand out and feel like a dream come true. This is a welcoming change to the Pokemon franchise that I hope stays in all of the future games. Do you have to travel specific pathways to get to a location? Unlike previous Pokemon games that followed the linear approach of traveling to towns, with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there are no set pathways. There are openings and passageways between areas like small caves and shortcuts, so you don't have to follow the main big roads that the game shows you. For example, in my demo, I traveled to the canyon area by crossing a river from the first area, then entered a small cave and arrived at Artezone. I'm sure there are going to be tons of different hidden pathways and big caves in the game. If you pay attention to your trailer footage, you'll be able to spot tiny caves like the ones I encountered. How does the day and night cycle work in this game? You cannot change time in the game manually. Time is not based on your Nintendo Switch time or date either. There are no options to change a specific time in the day like there was in Pokemon Legends Arceus. The Nintendo rep told me that there is an in-game time that rotates on its own. Pokemon levels. As you move further away from the first area or climb up to higher points of the map, you will start to notice higher level Pokemon and their evolution forms. Was the variety of Pokemon that you saw good? During my travel on the pathway I chose, I saw tons of Pokemon of various typings that players easily build their teams with. This includes early dragon Pokemon like Goomy and Swablu. In a previous video I did before I was invited to the hands-on experience, I analyzed the trailers and plotted out a lot of Pokemon locations based on the landmarks that they were shown in the background of the trailers. And I used this information that I studied to bump into a few of the Pokemon, and they were exactly where I thought they would be. I noticed that some Pokemon do continue to repeat in different areas, and their placement could vary depending on if they're by water, in the trees, flying, or in an open field. So it's not like every area is going to have 100% different Pokemon. It feels natural to have Pokemon I may have not wanted to catch in a certain area show up in a new location if I changed my mind as I was adventuring. Are there any new or returning Pokemon you can talk about that the Pokemon Company has not officially shown in any trailers yet? I personally saw a lot of new Pokemon and some returning Pokemon, but I can't say what they are. But what I can say is that the Pokemon Company has confirmed to me that other Pokemon like Mimikyu and Decidueye will be in the game when you get your hands on it during the release. Please don't ask me anything more on this. Were there any outbreaks or hordes of Pokemon in the overworld? The words outbreak or hordes weren't used or confirmed, but there are many different ways that you can find groups of Pokemon in the game. During my travel, I bumped into Pokemon of the same species and the same evolution. You could also bump into the final evolutions of a Pokemon line surrounded by their previous evolutions. You can find Pokemon of different species even interacting with each other, like Zangoose, Survivor, Titan, and Survivor, Titan, and Cubchoo. How do wild Pokemon behave? As I was exploring, I encountered a lot of Pokemon, and every single Pokemon had their own unique behavior. For example, some Pokemon like Lechonk would mind their own business. When Dunsparce saw that I was close by, it immediately dug into the ground, running away from me. The moment some Pokemon laid their eyes on me, they ran up to me and bumped into me to initiate a battle. These would be considered aggressive Pokemon. What are the ways to encounter a Pokemon? There are 3 ways to interact with wild Pokemon in the overworld. Walking into a Pokemon immediately will trigger a battle. Throwing your Pokemon via the Pokeball at another Pokemon in the wild also can trigger this battle. Another interaction I had was throwing my Wiglet out, and a Hoppip that was flying in the sky immediately started making its way down towards me. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, you would have to whistle at these flying Pokemon to get their attention. You can also use the auto battle feature once you have thrown out your selected Pokemon to battle. Let's talk about the auto battle feature. How does it work? In order to use the auto battle feature, you have to throw out your Pokemon first. After that, you have to press a button in order for your Pokemon to go and Pokemon in the overworld. Walking into a Pokemon immediately will trigger a battle. Throwing your Pokemon via the Pokeball at another Pokemon in the wild also can trigger this battle. Another interaction I had was throwing my Wiglet out, and a Hoppip that was flying in the sky immediately started making its way down towards me. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, you would have to whistle at these flying Pokemon to get their attention. You can also use the auto battle feature once you have thrown out your selected Pokemon to battle. Let's talk about the auto battle feature. How does it work? In order to use the auto battle feature, you have to throw out your Pokemon first. After that, you have to press a button in order for your Pokemon to go and fight the closest.
See what I mean? You're not just going to lose the shiny that is out there in the wild.
Pokemon. I asked the Nintendo rep, what are the 2 most important factors of auto battle? And they mentioned that it was the Pokemon type matchup and level difference that was
I like this. I actually like this mechanic, and it cuts down on bag space. There's something super simple about it, and not nearly as grindy. Like, you're gonna pick up resources as you play the game, as you explore, pretty much as you do anything. And it's nice that it's, you know, all in one-stop shop at the Pokemon Center. You got the healer in the middle, you've got the TM maker on our left side, and then of course on the right side would probably be the connection point.
The Titan fights, Team Star fights, or gym battles give large amounts of LP. Turning in specific Pokemon items dropped also gives LP. This means you aren't forced to complete a story in order to get TM. So you can just farm Pokemon, turn in their items, get LP, and buy more TMs. Did you see any Wild Tera Pokemon? In the most recent 14-minute Pokemon trailer, they introduced us to Wild Tera Pokemon that are glowing. I encountered the same Jigglypuff from the trailer in the exact same spot, but the difference was that this Pokemon was actually walking around rather than staying in one spot like the trailer. Throughout the overworld, you will notice glowing Pokemon walking around, and these Pokemon sometimes can be higher level and much more challenging than other Pokemon. I noticed some Wild Tera Pokemon that I encountered out-leveled my entire Pokemon team that was already boosted for the purposes of the gameplay session in the first area. Were you able to see different Tera types in the wild that we haven't seen in the trailers? Yes, but please look forward to discovering these unseen Tera types for yourselves when you get your hands on the game. Do overworld shiny Pokemon exist? The Nintendo rep did not give me a direct answer, but this menu confirms shiny Pokemon being a part of your profile from the trailer. How to find them is to be determined. I'm going to assume that shiny Pokemon are in the overworld based on how the profile shows it off, and
I guess the person at Cerebi.net who actually got to play the game, who was invited and showed up to the the location to play the 2 hours of this game, actually found the first ever shiny Pokemon for this Scarlet and Violet. I am spacing on who that person is from Cerebi, but he actually found a shiny Skidoo. And Skidoo is, of course, returning from X and Y. It was an overworld find. Like, he found it, and he caught it in the, the demo that he got to play, but he's not going to keep it. He already asked the Nintendo rep, and they said no. But the valuable piece of information there, it's in the overworld, much like how it was in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So, fret not. The shinies are there.
Previous games like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Pokemon Legends Arceus also have overworld shiny Pokemon, so why wouldn't the first open world adventure game for Pokemon not have it? Do different Pokemon spawn at different times of the day? During my playthrough, I encountered certain Pokemon like Gengar, psychic Pokemon like Drowsy, or Pokemon like Murkrow and Honchkrow, and they only appeared at night. These were just some of the examples I encountered when I was playing. Do Pokemon despawn? Yes, if you defeat a Pokemon in battle, it disappears. If the Pokemon runs away from you based on its animation, it also disappears. I was not able to test this out as much by going far away from the Pokemon and then coming back to see if it's still there, or if the exact same Pokemon with the same nature, Tera type, and stat distribution would repeat if I came into a building and came out and met.
The guy had 2 hours to play the demo. Cut him some slack. He's out here doing the Lord's work to find everything he can out about this game. So for the 2 hours that he played, instead of listening to the Nintendo rep and going the one of 3 routes that he could have, the gym leader, the fighting of Team Star, or the, the Legends path, where you fight the Colossal Titan Pokemons, like Colossal Crab, he decided to explore for 2 hours, which, in my opinion, is well worth his time, because the exploration is, it's going to be well received, and it's just, come on, like, exploration is why we wanted an open world game in the first place, so why not?
It again. Most likely Pokemon reset upon moving really far away from them, or by entering into a building and then coming back out. What can you tell us about the legendary Pokemon from your preview? As mentioned before, this was an altered gameplay experience. I was able to already ride the legendary Pokemon from the moment I started the playthrough. The only things I can mention about the legendary is that they were able to run, jump, climb, and swim. Basically do everything they were shown to do in the trailers. Something really cool about riding on the legendary Pokemon is that when you initiate a battle with wild Pokemon, you can see that you are still riding your legendary Pokemon during the battle when throwing out your party Pokemon. Any more information about the legendary Pokemon, you would have to find out for yourself in the game, or wait for a trailer to reveal that information. Let's talk about catching Pokemon. If you paid attention to most of the trailers when Pokeballs were thrown out, you'd notice the speed is a lot faster than previous Pokemon games. A lot of people were confused by this, thinking that this is the critical capture mechanic. When I threw my Pokeballs to catch a Pokemon, I noticed the speed was faster than any other Pokemon game. I asked the Nintendo rep why it was so fast. They wanted to make the world seamless, like it was flowing, so it doesn't feel like a slow interaction when you are in battle. How does Tera transformation work in your Pokemon party? You are allowed to do 1 Tera transformation in a Pokemon battle. As seen in this footage, when you select Terastallize, you can see the icon symbol for what the Pokemon Tera type would be, and then you can proceed to Terastallize. When you select a move that does an enhanced damage, you will see a subtle glow on the Pokemon as you select that specific move. From what I was told, the Pokemon lose their original typing, but maintain the damage enhancement that they had in their previous stab moves, along with a new enhancement in their Tera type. Once you
That's interesting. That's interesting and super meta. They lose their original typing, but they keep their bonus. That's very interesting. But yeah, as you see on the right, we've got the probably trading section and or Wi-Fi section. Curious, because you pretty much got to do that from, your menu in Sword and Shield. So I'm wondering if they just added a location in the Pokemon Center just to have. Also, you can access your Pokemon box from your Pokemon party just like you did in Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus. Sword and Shield, definitely. I'm spacing on Legends Arceus right now.
Use up your Terastallization, you have to go heal your Pokemon in order to use it again. Here is some new footage of the Pokemon Center healing area, and you...
Oh, we got a new layout for the healing section. This trainer is a very well diverse group, and he got to start with one of the Mega Man Pokemon. Super excited for those guys.
could see a new aesthetically pleasing interface that has
He's right,
all
that
the
was
Pokemon
very
zoomed in
aesthetically
as they are
pleasing.
being
That's a
healed up.
very nice layout. Super simple, super fresh.
Can you turn the experience share on or off? EXP share, as you can see from the auto battle EXP screen, after you beat a Pokemon, or from a regular battle, all the Pokemon on the left side in your party gain experience.
There you go. It doesn't turn off, which, you know what? It's fine. Realistically, it's fine. There's so many other Pokemon that you can go out there and catch and re-level up. It's not a big deal. Like, the days of grinding individual Pokemon are long since over. Basically, the days of Red and Blue will never happen again. Because in Gold and Silver, they added held items, and Exp Share was an item. And then as the Pokemon franchise progressed, there's Exp All, and then there was the key item, and then now it's just an inherent thing. That's just the world we live in. It's fine. It's progress. Just because it's not the same old grindy video game that you used to play when you were like 6 or 7 years old doesn't make it not a good game. This is very promising. This is doing a lot for the Pokemon world. I'm very much looking forward to this.
EXP share, as you can see from the auto battle EXP screen, after you beat a Pokemon, or from a regular battle, all the Pokemon on the left side in your party gain experience. I was not able to explore if there was an...
Damn, she's stacked. Look at those shoulders. Holy hell, woman. Hell yeah. Got lots of... I wonder if we can... No, we're probably going to be stuck as like little... Like our personal character is probably going to stuck as like a little youngling. It would be cool if we got to customize our age too. Good for you, Nintendo. You know what you're doing.
Option or not to turn this off, but most likely it is probably a staple feature of this game. One of the most exciting changes to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are when your Pokemon evolve in the overworld. Changing the evolution to happen in front of you no matter where you are in the world looks so much better than evolution screens from previous games. How do trainer battles work? Throughout the areas I was exploring, there were tons of trainers randomly standing in the overworld. At first, my instinct was to avoid them, but the Nintendo rep let me know they will not interact with me unless I interact with them. To make sure I bumped my character.
You heard it here. You don't have to run around trainers anymore. You can walk right through and they won't bother you unless you talk to them. So you literally have to F around and then you will find out in order to battle other trainers here. It doesn't seem so bad, realistically. Oh, back in my day, we used to fight every single person we saw. Well, you know what? I remember a specific time in Gold and Silver when you left a very specific cave right outside of Azalea Town, and my Pokemon were beat to crap, and not for nothing, I would have loved to skip that hiker that was stationed right outside of the cave. But no matter which way you went, which way you decided to run, which way you decided to even try to crawl, for lack of a better term, because you couldn't crawl in an 8-bit game, you just couldn't avoid this guy, and he would just pulverize you with... And you know what? Of course I started with Cyndaquil, so I had a fire type, and then whatever else I had on my team was just not good against what he had. And you know what? Sometimes I got my life stomped. Other times I got lucky. But I just wanted to get out of that cave after doing some leveling and heal. This is a welcome change.
Character into the trainer and nothing happened. This is an amazing new feature because you can focus on...
Alright, the most important bit of news here is that you have to sneak up on Smoliv. That's it. That's the video.
Focus on your exploration and not worry about being interrupted by NPC trainers. Let's talk about the Pokedex. How many Pokemon are in the Pokedex? I know many of you want this answer. However, I am not allowed to comment on this, but as I mentioned before, there is an extremely good diversity of Pokemon that I encountered in the game. Trainers can expect to build amazing
Larvitar
teams filled with many
Alright, so we got regular Magnemite, and then we also got the reveal of the Cotton Candy Magnemite from the Electric Gym Leader. So we are seeing some diversity here, as in like 2 different region types of Magnemite. So there could be other region types in this one game. Very much looking forward to seeing that.
That could be even more diverse with Tera typing. What cool stuff did you see in the Pokedex? The Pokedex screen had very cool features like recent caught section, recent activity, and some mysterious blacked out Pokemon images that may be around the area that I haven't registered in the Pokedex. Another cool feature on the Pokedex was the Pokemon habitat. I had a chance to look at the habitat section of the Pokedex, and what I saw was certain parts of a mini-map lit up in squares in the area of the Pokedex Pokemon would be. There were also further hints, since the map is so big, to let you know that Pokemon could be around trees or water, etc. Pokemon battles.
That's
One
handy.
of the big questions I had was, what angles are the camera during battle? Because when I started my fight with the wild Pokemon, the camera was not moving at all. I then moved my joystick and realized that you decide what camera angle you want the fight to look like. This is the first time in a Pokemon game that you can do this. This is a welcoming change to Pokemon battles that I hope stays in the franchise forever. When you look around during these fights, you can see other Pokemon that you saw running around before the battle, still running around during the battle, so it doesn't disconnect you from the environment, unlike other Pokemon games that lock you into its own environment during a battle, ignoring all the things happening in the background. Is there normal currency in the game? Yes, the regular Pokemon currency is still in the game and it has not been replaced by LP. You can see that in this footage here. After beating the trainer, you get the Pokemon monies. You can use this money to buy Pokeballs, healing items, and many other stuff from the shops. Let's talk about the 3 paths in the game. As you're making your way into the town of Artizone, you can see that the player is going to walk into this building. Inside of this building, we're introduced to Nemona. In this new footage of Nemona, you can see her talking to you and then giving you 3 super potions. After that, you'll do the gym challenge, which features a bunch of Sunflora, and then go on to face Brassius. The first one was Brassius. Brassius was another option during the demo, but I didn't choose to fight him personally since a lot of footage was revealed about it. From the trailer, you can see that Brassius has a Smoliv and a Sudowoodo that turns into a grass Tera type. So you would want to be careful and not bring a fire Pokemon because Sudowoodo can probably use Rock Attack. So Pokemon will make it challenging to people who think that fire Pokemon is the only way to beat a grass gym and may be surprised by that Sudowoodo. During the demo, no other gym leaders were able to be challenged like Iono from Lavincia Gym that was recently revealed with her Pokemon Bellibolt, or Grusha from the Glaciado Gym and his Pokemon Satitan. The Path of Legends. As you saw in the trailer, you were introduced to Arven, who is going to be involved in the Path of Legends. As soon as my character reached the canyon area, I got a call from Arven talking about the Titan and its location on the map. I decided not to go to that.
Something strange about that cliff, but I just can't put my finger on it.
That area. The footage in the trailer showed that it will have a large HP bar, and the most effective way to beat it is by having a super effective Tera type to take it down. Once you take it down, it runs off. The further details of this storyline will have to be found out when you play the game, or if the Pokemon Company decides to reveal more information on it. The Team Star battle is the one I personally chose to do with my hands-on playthrough. The reason why I chose Mela is because it had the most gameplay features attached to it. As you entered the Team Star compound, you were only allowed to bring the first 3 Pokemon in your party. Then there was a 10-minute auto battle when you entered in to fight all the Team Star grunts. Every single one of the grunts I faced had fire-type Pokemon, so it was very easy to wipe them out because I had a Wiglet in my party, which had the type advantage, and I had over-leveled Pokemon that they gave me to use, so that was the level advantage. Also, the Pokemon that I was given were a little bit over-leveled, so they were able to wipe out the grunt Pokemon very fast. When you throw each of your Pokemon out to fight, you have to aim currently at the direction where you want your Pokemon to attack and press R to throw them out. You will constantly do this until you take out 30 Pokemon. The Nintendo rep informed me that these little red vending machines in the background of the Team Star area can be used to restore the health of your Pokemon to help complete the challenge. This is new information, by the way. After you complete this, Mela will come out of the garage, standing on top of the Starmobile vehicle to challenge you in a fight. Mela uses Torkoal against you that has the ability Drought, which causes water-type attacks to have lower damage and be weaker and increase the damage of fire-type moves. So this would trip up a lot of players who think water types will be effective against your Pokemon. I love this because it adds...
So, quick thing. Apparently, Torkoal's not her only Pokemon, and the engine in the Guy Fury mobile is not the Pokemon. The Pokemon is apparently in the entire car. So the Guy Fury mobile is actually a Pokemon. Allegedly.
A level of difficulty to this fight that I thought wasn't really there. You're able to then use all 6 Pokemon in your party, not be locked to the first 3. After you beat her ace Pokemon, Torkoal, you then have to battle the Starmobile, which was a very challenging fight. So don't take these Team Star battles lightly and prepare very well beforehand. You can see here that this is the starting menu customization. You can see ready, change hairstyle, and change look. You notice that in the change hairstyle, you can go through the various hairstyles that the game provides for you. And if you click on change look, you can see the various other options like eye shape and eyelashes and eyebrows that it has in the customization. Once that's all done, you hit ready and you can start your game. If you press D-pad left on your controller, you can change your clothes and hairstyle. But the best part is that you can do do this anywhere. I was able to do this myself while exploring, so it's not a town or city only feature, which a lot of people didn't catch. The Nintendo rep said that you can change things like your skin color, which is only an option at the start of the game. Another one you can't change is the color of your hair. This can only be done in the hair salon in selected towns. Clothing stores also exist in the game, but I didn't get an opportunity to go into one and see the various options that they have. The camera by far is one of my favorite features in the game. To access the camera, all you have to do is press D-pad down to access it. You'll notice that you'll be able to take pictures from the front of the camera, take pictures of Pokemon to make it almost feel like a Pokemon Snap experience, and you'll also be able to take selfies. I think selfies are the coolest part because you can see all the things happening in the background. I'm very interested to see in what players can bring to the table with the funniest selfies they'll be able to do. Maybe a Pokemon attacking you and you're taking a selfie in the middle of it. Let's talk about the picnic features, and the big one is how does breeding work in the game? I was not able to figure out how to get an egg to show up at the picnic. I asked a Nintendo rep about breeding, but all they told me is that you have to find out for yourself. I also asked about Pokemon
Thanks, Nintendo rep.
daycare centers and got the same exact response. I was not told no, so that gives me hope for Pokemon breeding. Breeding mechanics still have to be discovered in this game, and exactly how they work, we need to find out. Some of the picnic features that I tried out was throwing a ball and watching all my Pokemon chase after it. You're also able to give your Pokemon showers and clean them up. In this new footage with Belly Bolt, you can see it having a very nice shower and cleaning up. I'm assuming that the showers and playing with your Pokemon can increase their friendship so that they can dodge attacks at the most critical times in battle, or you can evolve certain Pokemon that require high friendship to evolve. The sandwich feature is going to be a big one. From the preview footage, you can see how many numbers are there on the left, so there's probably going to be a lot of sandwiches that give a lot of different buffs. You can also see that they give various buffs for different typings like encounter power, raid power, and catching power. So if you are focusing on a specific type of Pokemon in your gameplay, these will definitely help enhance that. Another feature returning back to the game are Pokemon boxes. If you need to
Okay, so before we brush off the sandwiches thing, as ridiculous as it sounds, there's apparently a mechanic in the game that allows you to have a shiny, your shiny chance rate will actually be increased depending on the sandwich that you make. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I love me some sandwiches. The idea of a sandwich minigame to do certain things like run into more ground types, fire, whatever, depending on the sandwich that you make, plus the added benefit of increasing your shiny odds without having to complete the Pokedex, either complete the Pokedex or see every Pokemon in the Pokedex to get the shiny charm, is breaking the mold for a 20-something year tradition for Pokemon. Again, another welcome change. Now, Legends Arceus did something completely different with its shiny odds, and people were getting shinies left and right. At one point when I finished the game, I was doing nothing but shiny hunting for Legends Arceus, and I got so many boxes of shinies that I don't even know what to do with anymore. This seems like it's still keeping up with the hunt of finding shiny Pokemon, but just adding an extra mechanic in it that doesn't have you breaking your back in to fill the Pokedex up. You can run into a shiny Pokemon super early on in the game, like our friend at sarahb.net. And his was a random chance from the video that I watched. He didn't even get to make a sandwich yet. So, super really interesting. I love that the minigames kind of do this kind of added effect. It's a lot like the camping mechanic in Sword and Shield with the curry, but I don't know if the Pokemon also get some sandwich. Lechonk cannot have this sandwich. It has ham in it. It's not good.
Access a Pokemon at any time that is in your storage. You can do it right from the convenience of your menu. Let's talk about multiplayer. During the event, I was on local multiplayer, and I was the one responsible to set up a raid. I approached the Tera raid den and invited other players. I had a code on my screen, and I told everyone that code so they could join. The one I did was a Grass Tera type 3-star Wingull. In this new Tera raid footage, you can see 4 players going up against a Water Tera type Ralts. You'll also notice the main time counting down in orange, and you can see all the players attacking seamlessly without having to wait for other trainers to do so. You also don't have to be KO'd to use these cheer options. The cheer options will help boost attacks, defenses, or just heal Pokemon, so you have to use them very strategically. After completing a Tera raid battle, the rewards felt very familiar to Pokemon Sword and Shield. I know.
Also, quick thing, because he didn't brush up on it, there's no random shield that pops up on these raid Pokemons. Like in Sword and Shield, the most agonizing thing that would draw out these Tera fights, or, well, the raids, would be the shield that would pop up when the Pokemon had 50 to 30% health left. They did away with that altogether, and this seems to be seamless.
Shield. I noticed things like experience candy dropping, specific items that Pokemon drop that you will be using in the TM machines, berries, and much more. Since I personally did a low-level 3-star Tera raid, I got a small experience candy. So if you played Pokemon Sword and Shield, this will be very familiar to you, and you...
Oh, also there is a 7-star confirmed Tera type raid already listed for the game. So it goes from 1 to 7. I don't know if 6 is technically actually in there or if it skips, but I know 1 through 5 are definite. 7 is a definite. I haven't seen any confirmation on a 6-star raid, but just so you know, it exists, and they're obviously the hardest ones.
And you should know what to expect depending on the difficulty of the Tera raid. I wasn't allowed to do any other multiplayer features besides the Crystal Raid battle during the hands-on preview, but there were tons of multiplayer features that the Pokemon Company has shown, like inviting people to your world to explore, racing with your legendary Pokemon across the map, hanging out in Mesagosa to pass the time, taking pictures together, and being able to use cool emotes in multiplayer as well. I also asked questions about what happens when someone sees a shiny Pokemon in your world and another player grabs it. I didn't get these answers to those questions, and I guess we have to wait for future game trailers or information from the Pokemon Company, or when we just get our hands on the game. I'll be posting some official news screenshots on my Twitter, so go follow me there.
Follow Philly Beats You. This video is mostly due in part to his own video, and it was a wealth of information and super well executed. But yes, if I play Scarlet and Violet with any of you and you decide to take a shiny Pokemon while we're playing in my game, you get in Das Boot.
Go follow me there. If you want to see some Pokemon map locations I did before the preview, click this video, subscribe, and I'll...
There you have it. That was a lot of information. There was a lot that was going on, but Pokemon decided to drop this bombshell after the Iona and the Bellibolt reveal. The Iona Bellibolt was probably the most conflicted reveal for Pokemon fans all over. You've got people defending her as a character and, you know, her jagged chompers, and then you got the others that are saying that it was a cringe character. And she's not the first person to be a streamer slash influencer. We had Raihan from Sword and Shield, the 8th gym leader, who had like his fangs. It looked great on him. I don't have any personal opinions towards Ino. I really thought she was going to be the fairy type gym leader thanks to her color palette, and especially with the Magnemite. I was thinking electric and fairy type. Nothing confirmed as of yet. There's a potential that the Magnemite are electric and fairy, or steel and fairy, which would be a really interesting typing combination that would get rid of a lot of fairy type weaknesses. But as far as the trainer's concerned, I really don't have an opinion. Like, some people didn't like it, some people loved it, some people just wanted to defend it. It is what it is. It's a Pokemon game. Like, come on guys, relax. Anywho, Bellibolt, the star of that, egg. He's like an egg jelly bean shape. I love him. Anyway, getting back to the point. A lot of information. The game is less than a month away. Right? Like, everything we're seeing so far is incredible. The open world is what it is advertised to be, is open world. Minus the one city that I mentioned earlier in the video, which is supposed to be like the main city in this game, which I'm assuming is like where the school is in the very beginning. Beyond that, and maybe even the Indigo Plateau, most of this game is supposed to be open world and seamless. There are some complaints about the windmill in the grass gym leader area being a little glitchy. This was a demo that was shown to a select few people. Some people decided to complain about it. Others decided to realize that this is not the completed game. It's a demo version. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want nothing but positive things for, just positive outlooks for this game. And I'm hoping that this will... I don't know how much further Pokemon is possibly going to go past this as far as new games. But if there is any progression in Pokemon games, I hope they follow suit with this mechanic, with this, formula, if you will, of open world and giving you the choice of doing what you want to do in a Pokemon game. Because if I had a chance to skip like half the things that I have experienced in the older games, I would have skipped some of them and come back to them, probably. As long as we're being honest here. Also, this looks like a Magnemite. I wonder what that's about. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. This has been quite the long video. My editor is going to hate me for this one. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I look forward to this being potentially the last video for Pokemon before that game actually comes out, and then I stream it. And then I have you guys jump in on my streams and play games with me and not catch my shiny Pokemons. But yeah, until next time, guys. Bye-bye.